Now, speaking of old and new and cards that kind of add to decks and stuff like that, these are obviously two of the mats that were on show, right? We've got the bounty player for Namekian Witness Protection, and we've also got the bounty player for Perth Pro Players. Respective logos on the mats itself. You can see on the left we have PX3 and we have NWP on the right. But yeah, guys, these are free mats itself. They went into a lot of effort here to create these for the players. We were capped at 16 today, so if I'm not mistaken, these are going to be not given to each other, but it's just going to be an exhibition match. There still will be these mats available for the players if they do come across them in the following rounds. Obviously, we do have first, second, and third place mats as well for the players that are entering today. I'm kind of interested to see. I mean, we all know yellow is very, very strong, but at the end of the day, Frieza is not a Saiyan leader, so it's going to be interesting to see what cards we actually do have coming out from the Frieza player, right? You know, obviously there's so many strong yellow cards, but some of them were tied down to if your leader is obviously like a mono Saiyan kind of thing. So there's going to be an interesting surprise element to this, I believe.
Yeah, and this is the Tournament of Power Frieza, not the set one. So this is got the tag Warriors of Universe 7. We've got an activate main of place 1 U7 card in your drop area, draw 2, and then I believe that carries over onto his Awakened side as well. So perhaps he's going to be flexing an Awakened Power onto this UI mat.
I mean, it's very possible. When was the last time you actually saw a Tournament of Power Frieza, or almost any leader, I would almost say, since that time, it's been a while. I know for myself, I definitely haven't seen that in quite some time, so definitely interested to see what he comes up with here.
Yeah, for sure. That Warriors of Universe 7 tag we don't see get utilized a whole lot. Obviously making use of it now, being able to play that blue one-drop Goku with the yellow energy, but yeah, just not something that we've seen. And there it is, the Awakened Power.
Speaking of, he's already found it.
Straight into it. He's revealed his end game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, not like, you know, we're speaking about SCRs. It's not an easy feat to obviously find the one card in your deck that obviously, you know, you need, and you don't want to see it in your drop if you've got like a mill mechanic or you've got a burst. So to have that in your hand after Mulligan, you know, being able to search it out with the Goku, pretty handy. And now Jimmy on the left hand side has got something to worry about, right? Like if he gets to a certain turn and he's got no real way to kind of deal with it, yeah, gonna be interesting to see how he plays around this now. Does his gameplay change? It is a best of one again. Red obviously wants to be super aggressive anyway, so the UI SCR doesn't come out till, what turn are we talking about? 4 or 5? Is that right?
I guess it depends on, you know, some of the other cards that he can get out. But we're probably most likely looking for a turn 4 or 5 play, unless he's got something incredibly sneaky hidden in his deck. But yeah, definitely it seems like Jimmy's probably going to have to spend a bit more time focusing on board at this point, just to try and prevent any kind of evolution and things like that, and put the pressure on. It's Matt, isn't it, on the other side?
That is Matt, I believe. Yes, Rainbow Dash. Yeah.
So putting the pressure on, just keeping that board clear. I don't know if there's too many kind of defensive options and things that Jiren has available to kind of get out of an Awakened Power attack if it does.
Correct.
Board.
And the thing is, obviously, with the Jiren deck specifically, not all red decks itself, but Jiren wants to kind of go tall and fast. You know, it doesn't really want to play defensive. It doesn't really want to, I mean, we see a lot of red decks, want to neg the board, want to be able to control what bodies are on the board and things like that. But Jiren really wants to just play its own game, right? It wants to build this big monster. It wants to be able to attack you multiple times. It wants to be able to do that insane damage, that pressure. So yeah, I'm guessing not really much in the deck for Jiren to be able to kind of deal with this. He's going for the double strike.
Yeah, he's really trying to put some pressure on.
Yeah.
One thing I guess that comes to mind is perhaps holding off on playing the Zenith of Power until he swings with the Awakened Power, and just to try and get that -35 once it hits the field, and try and out combo from there. But yeah, a lot of great yellow cards still available. You mentioned that it's not a Saiyan leader, but just the amount of cards that yellow has available. I mean, two of the better cards in energy right now. We've got the Final Flash, and we've got I believe it's Steadfast Assistance.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that allows you to obviously
Steadfast Ally.
Yeah, rest and then have a blocker on the field as well, which is kind of insanity. They're just using the leader skill here to put a U7 into draw 2. But the Jiren player is tapped out, right? And we do see testing the opposition in the energy as well, right? So he does have the availability to obviously play these free play cards, be able to kind of block an attack, or put a bit of defense on the board without having necessarily the energy up. Like I said, Jiren is the kind of deck that wants to kind of go very quickly, very tall, and needs, very minimal energy, but still does need that energy to obviously be able to play. So it's not like he can do a lot of things for free, and, it's kind of going to go very tall, or, multiple of the big Jirens on the field without being able to kind of tap yourself down. So yeah, he's got 6 life already. He's already got one of the bigger Jirens on the field. Frieza player has 5 life already. Does have obviously 1 energy open. So looking, I mean, you're not too upset here if you're the Jiren player. You've already done some pretty good damage on turn 1. It took down 3 life. Frieza ends up putting the Draw Ape into the drop as well, which is very, very interesting that he's going for this kind of build here.
Yeah, and it seems like he's pretty much spent the first 2 turns building his hand, looking for his pieces. He's done his best to continue attacking Jiren's battle cards rather than Jiren's leader. I feel like he's just going to avoid attacking leader as much as possible, not give Jimmy any cards to hand that Jimmy's not getting himself.
Absolutely.
And then just go all in for that Awakened Power. So I feel like this Frieza deck is built around drawing as much as possible, seeing as many cards as possible, and seeing that Awakened Power.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And again, we know that he has it in his hand. A bit of a whiff from the top search, and I think he did take the life to be able to try and play something from there, if I'm not mistaken, from the top search.
You take the life, and then I believe it's the top 7.
Yeah, so having to take that life first and then whiffing on it is not the best feeling, but I mean, I'm sure Jiren knows right here that he's on a clock, right? He knows that he has to put as much pressure as he can. I mean, taking his own life isn't really going to be the worst thing here. Now, the reason being is because obviously, for those that don't know, the Awakened Power SCR, it has Victory Strike on it, so it doesn't matter what life total you are on. If that attack does go through, then the game is over.
Yeah, that's it. Pack it up.
Yeah.
Prepare for your next round.
Literally. So I think Jimmy doesn't really care too much about taking life on the Jiren because he knows that he's on a clock anyway.
Yeah, he wants to get to 4 life and then awaken. We see the robotic riposte come down. We've got I believe it was a extra card, Hope for Universe 7 in the drop area.
Yep.
We've got the Final Flash in energy. So robotic riposte coming down as a 1 cost.
So with the Awakened Power, right, obviously the attack and the skill can't be negated. So he needs to have the blocker on field before the Awakened Power comes down, but the Goku that he will most likely evolve on allows him to... I'm pretty sure if it's the one that I'm thinking of, Hope of Universe 7, I believe, it swings a couple times. And is there one that actually does remove battle cards on the field as well? So depending if he plays the testing the opposition early, which he has to kind of play it in anticipation of the Victory Strike coming out next, right? Because he can't kind of play it against the Victory Strike when it gets put down onto the field because it can't be negated. So he needs to play it literally the swing before, but not too early enough to kind of have that card removed from the field before it even gets its block effect off. And Jiren's going pretty big here. We got two chains going now.
Yeah, both dual attacking, with the ability to keep them on field by removing, I believe it's a card or two from underneath or taking a life if it ever does get removed. But these 5-drop Jirens are incredibly strong, being 19k dual attacks. They constantly just continue to put pressure on. But yeah, we haven't really seen too much of a setup coming from the Frieza at this point. You know, we're seeing Jiren doing Jiren things, but Frieza's yet to kind of start establishing its chain.
Yeah, and no real sign from the Frieza player right now, like of any chain trying to kind of go into that Awakened Power. You know, he's tapped out, hasn't awakened yet on the Frieza itself as well. Neither player is actually awakened, but there's no real clear indicator of how he's going to get there and what he's going to do with it. There's a super combo that allows you to draw when you are at 5 or less. One of the old school super combos that was honestly one of the best ones itself, as long as your leader card was a Universe 7 and your life is at 5 or less. So might start seeing that come back as well. Now that we've obviously got the red UI Goku coming out from Realm of the Gods. I think it'll be a pretty decent super combo to add to the deck as well as an option. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen a fair few people looking for them, posting them for sale and things like that. I believe that's the Mythic Booster reprint in Energy for the UI Goku. So it looks like we could be seeing kind of the yellow route rather than utilizing that Warrior of Universe 7 tag.
Yeah.
Potentially some kind of swap engine. I know that was pretty popular.
Well, Jiren does have one energy left, and he decided not to obviously swing multiple times with the chains on the board. Did Riposte get played last turn?
Yeah.
Then that would probably be why. Okay, so pretty important Riposte timing as well, I guess, to kind of keep himself on 5. Control the tempo of the game. He's going to tap 2. He's going to activate the Draw Ape, get another 2 cards into his hand, and his hand size from this angle kind of looks pretty thick right now. Like, I'm pretty sure he's on at least double digits in terms of hand size. I believe he's about on 10, if not more. Bit hard to see, obviously, when he's not fanning out the hand on camera, so we definitely can't see it. But yeah, he's definitely drawn a fair bit. Obviously, leader allows you to draw 1 every turn. You just have to kind of neg a Universe 7 every time. But I mean, it's still a +1 on your turn, and he's taken a few cards from life.
Yeah, I imagine he'd be on 13 or 14 cards at this point, because we've only seen him play the Mecha Frieza from hand. Other than that, everything else he's played has searched itself out, or he's pitched it for leader and drawn the extra card. We've just seen the draw 2 off the Draw Ape now as well. So. Yeah. Everything's either replaced itself or added a card to hand outside of Mecha Frieza. And it looks like Jimmy's got a fair few cards in hand as well.
Both players seem to be able to kind of draw a fair bit. And, Crown of Retribution. So
that would have been a great card to be able to drop on this Frieza.
Absolutely.
Snipe out some of those chain pieces,
and just see what your opponent is looking like. Is he on track for that turn 4, turn 5 play? Is he going to maybe go this route? I mean, I can see that he does have all the pieces, so like I need to prepare myself, better. Or, he doesn't have all the pieces yet. He's obviously still digging for it. So I do have like a turn or two left until it's kind of, the dead zone. So yeah, a bit of a shame that obviously the Frieza player has one energy up, not able to get the benefit out of that crown. And he does hit off the top stage for Jiren now. And I believe Jiren should be able to awaken here once he plays whatever he wants to play, and kind of put some more pressure on onto Frieza, because right now Frieza's sitting pretty. Obviously yellow, that's virtually what yellow does. I mean, it controls the tempo until it's ready to kind of do itself. Yeah, Jiren in awaken stage, if he wants to get the most out of it, he will obviously use one energy, because this leader does switch one of your energy to active and also draw one card. Haven't really seen, this is the interesting thing actually from both of these guys. I would more expect it from maybe the Jiren player. There's no unison that's come out. Obviously Red has a couple of strong unisons. I thought maybe he might want to go the spirit boost route and kind of evolve with being able to spirit boost. But yeah, it's looking like the old days. And there we go, we've actually got one of those counter plays that allows you to play the blocker in place of it. So just more presence and more availability to kind of stop these attacks really swinging through from Frieza. Again, controlling the game, and now he's at awaken range as well.
Yeah, Frieza being an untapped 2 leader. Been a while since we've seen one of those.
Yeah.
Now most leaders opting for the draw 1 untap one, but yeah.
Question is here, I mean, he did see the Crown of Retribution put into the energy, right? Does Matt now anticipate that maybe he's got another one in hand and that's why he put it there? Or did he just think to himself, Jimmy's not going to have another one in his hand, but he put it down there because he saw that, he only has the one energy up, so right now it's kind of like a dead card. Well, it's not a dead card, but it's a 5k combo card, right? So, what is going to happen here is interesting. He does get rid of the blocker by evolving onto that 1-drop Jiren. Now going to awaken, he's going to be able to untap, draw 1, and 4 energy as a red leader, and you've got 3 chains going as Jiren, and you've got 4 life left on the Frieza leader. You might see a untap 2 awaken here from the Frieza leader, if I'm going to be honest here, unless he has another riposte. Riposte would be absolutely amazing here.
You think he would have played the riposte on that initial attack, perhaps drawing it off the life that he took for the negate, but you'd assume that would have been the first negate to come down rather than opting for the Frieza's army reinforcement. Well,
I guess it goes down to the question, right? Does he use the Frieza's army reinforcement to get himself down to 4 life in case he wants to get into a sticky situation? Or, you're right, did he have the riposte in life, picked it up from the reinforcements and is available to play it now? So
Jimmy dropping the zenith of power, so he's gone
get rid of this. Yeah, he wants to go. Yeah. He's going to have to tap a card down every time he swings here. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's still got leader to tap down as well. So he's got a total of 6 cards.
Oh, perfect. Utilizing the promo Jiren to play the 1-drops just by putting the yellow Jiren into the drop area. So now he's got cards available to
tap down. Yeah, really nice here. And Frieza is tapped out. He does have his awaken, so he can untap 2 energy. So we will. I mean, you almost feel like you definitely have to see the Frieza player untap here. I know you really want to use that untap to kind of go into your UI chain, right? You don't want to kind of put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, UI SCR is really an all eggs in one basket anyway, right? You want to be able to win on that turn. You want to be able to win on that swing. So you're probably not really caring too much of on having spare energy after you swing with the UI, because you're just kind of like, all right, it's make or break here. So he might not necessarily be saving the Awaken for that swing, but will be interesting to see what he does here, because he has got a lot of swings coming through. He hasn't actually negated the first swing from Zenith. He's super comboed onto it as well, so we're looking at a really, really big boy here.
We should be sitting at about 45k double strike at this point.
Yeah.
Matt just saying, what cards am I willing to get rid of? Do I need to Awaken at this point? I do think that he wants to hold off the Awaken as much as possible and utilize it on his turn.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that he's going to be able to get through this turn without Awakening.
I agree.
And getting through all these attacks.
I agree. Well, if he activates the main on the Zenith, he's going to be able to obviously drop another Jiren into the drop area, but he's also going to be able to swing again. There we go. There's the Awaken coming through. But yeah, he's going to be able to swing again, double strike, 35k, and his lead is going to get a 5k buff too. So just more pressure really coming down here, and the Awaken comes out. But yeah, he's going to have to take it regardless, because you can't negate now. You can't really play anything else that's going to be able to kind of deal with the 45k double strike swing at you. And this is going to be interesting. There's 2 energy up here. Frieza kind of looks like he's on the ropes. Obviously, Riposte was played this turn. It has been warped. It has been sent to the drop already. He's going to activate the main, so he's dropping another Jiren from underneath. Restands, going to give his leader another 5k, and another 35k double strike coming at you for game. Now, 2 energy available for Frieza.
And we've seen that final flash in energy, so we know that he is running it. It's something to be mindful of. You don't want to be dumping your whole hand on a double strike.
Yep.
Just to get final flashed.
Would you have final flashed if you had it in your hand after you Awaken, though?
I guess the problem that you have is you go to 30k, you still need to drop, another 4 cards at 5k combo or utilize your super combos. It could potentially not be worthwhile.
Well, it dodges the double strike, right? So, I mean, he's not taking that added pressure. I mean, again, you're right. He's going to have one energy left, but he plays the Forbidden Power instead.
So this attack is not negated, but Jiren can only attack 1 more time for the turn with battle cards, I believe.
Yes, correct.
But still has to get through this attack. So Jimmy now wondering whether he combos more, whether he leaves it as it is. He's got to be mindful of that final flash.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why he's...
And okay, good. I was about to say he hasn't tapped down from the actual riposte. I was just going to mention that, but no, that's good. Good vision, good knowledge from the players itself. Just making sure that they are playing it correctly. He does have 1 more swing with a battle card. He does have to tap down another card to do so, and then obviously the leader swing as well is available. And what's that card? That's another super combo, double super combo. So he's seen a few of them.
Yeah, so he's at 35, only needs 5k more.
Yeah, to get out of this double strike, and that was obviously going for lethal. And he's just going to combo the riposte off the field. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't need battle cards if you're the yellow Frieza player. You just want to really focus on getting that victory strike out and going for game.
Absolutely. So we see the leader go in. We'll see another card get tapped for this attack. Frieza's still sitting with quite a large hand. And there's the rest. And looks like we're seeing another negate come out here.
Yeah, he's got power of Super Saiyan. So, yeah, okay. He is negating the attack, and I believe Jimmy has 1 more swing with a battle card, so he does have 1 more Jiren on the field that he can swing with. We'll have to tap down an energy to do this, though. But the Frieza player is actually on 2 life here, so going to be interesting, because Matt seems like he's in a pretty comfortable position again. Unless he does Champer and just like dump hand on Frieza here, if he does have it, obviously on the Jiren, because you need 1 energy, you need to tap down another card if you do swing with the last battle card swing. But that would be your go-to. He's played 3 super combos on the side of the Frieza player. So he's already kind of dim down. He doesn't have any energy up, so he can only have a couple of 5Ks in the hand, unless, you know, if he gets unlucky and the whole hand is 5Ks. Obviously, we have seen Awaken Power, so we do know that's not the case, but still, I mean, having 6 5Ks in your hand, that's 30k combo power. But Jimmy's hand not looking as fresh as it once was. It looks like he might have about 6 cards left in hand. He's trying to figure out the math here, and if he can actually get through on this turn, or if he needs to keep those 2 energy inactive to be able to deal with this next turn.
Yeah, and it's just whether he's got enough combo power to kind of kill the Frieza, and Frieza could potentially be sitting behind another Frieza's army reinforcements, being able to negate that attack and gain another blocker. But looks like we're going in for the swing here on the 5-drop Jiren. Going to be resting 1 energy. And I feel like you have to be sitting behind a double strike Champa if you're going for this swing. There's just no point utilizing your last swing, putting them at 1 life, and giving them that extra card in hand unless you can end the game right here.
Absolutely agree. And
Poutine coming down, not super relevant at this point in the game, being the last attack for the turn, but definitely can be a frustrating card to go up against. And we see the super combo.
is he just searching for a Champa here?
Perhaps, or I feel like if he's attacked already, he's got it in hand. There it is. Yeah, you wouldn't be attacking.
Here we go.
Unless you had it in hand. And so we're at 29-39. I believe it's Genie super combo that gains an extra 1k if you've got a red Saiyan, if I'm not mistaken, in the combo. So I think that equates to about 11,000 combo power.
And he's dumping.
Yeah, and quite a fair few cards in hand. 29-39. I believe we're at 90k double strike, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's it. He can't get there. Yeah, he can't get there. Like I said, we already know that he's got the Awaken Power in hand. Jimmy was on a timer here. Needed to go in with that swing and do a double strike. You've already seen the 3 super combos be done and dusted from the side of Matt and Frieza. And there you go. He had all the pieces that he needed. Just couldn't get to the next turn. He played the riposte. He had I think he played testing as well, but it did get popped as soon as the Zenith came down. And he is actually playing the Trunks Unison as well, which we didn't get to see. We didn't get to see any unisons out in this match, but yeah, wow. Jimmy taking that one straight to the end, which was really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, we saw the Height of Mastery and Hope of Universe 7 in hand there at the end.
Yeah. So had a couple of options, but yeah, just couldn't really get to the point that he needed. That was actually really, really close. I feel like if, you know, like I said, he doesn't go there and he doesn't have the double strike, it's just game over for him. You know, not many cards that red can kind of deal with when it comes down to that kind of Awaken Power threat. So what we might do is we'll chuck it over to the interview. We'll bring in Jimmy and we'll get his thoughts and his playstyle and what was going through his head. Just a sec, guys.
Oh shit!
Hello, sir.
Hey, Mr. Yuma, going on?
Not much. We just got to see your game there, which was actually really entertaining. Obviously, you got to play the exhibition match for us on table 1.
Yes.
Fantastic game. I think 2 really great decks going against each other. Very, very entertaining to watch. You don't really see both of these leaders represented in maybe in locals. You know, you might see him come up, you might see him, you know, here and there, but yeah, that turn 4, you know,
intense, eh?
Yeah, me and Ryan were obviously talking about it at that time. You know, we we know about Red and we know about Jiren, right? You want to obviously play your own game. You want to be able to kind of like put the pressure on, and you saw the Awakened Power come out into his hand in like the first turn. I think it was the first turn actually that he revealed it. So it was like you knew you were on a timer there, and you knew you had to kind of go fast, and you had to go, go tall to kind of do that. Were you, when you saw that at turn 1, were you ever kind of thinking to yourself, all right, it's go time, like, gas, well, foot on the pedal, I've got to go now, otherwise, it's kind of going to bring me down to a point where if I don't beat him by this turn, I'm finished?
Yeah, definitely. So as soon as I saw that, I knew if he gets to turn 4, it'd be all in his favor, because then that's when turn 3 dumps the path to greatness, I think it is. Turn 4 can swap into the height of mastery, and if he can then awaken and untap 2 back, then he can go into the awakened power. So I was just like, no, this cannot happen.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's
right.
when I went for more of a wider board. As soon as I saw the more Mecha Frieza counter that he played in the deck, I was like, yeah, we gotta dump a Jiren promo, one of the Strength Silence, or I can't remember what it's called again. Anyway, to bring out 2 more additional Universe 11, so I can afford to tap down and keep attacking.
Yep.
I did have another. With the other 2 energy, I did have a Goku in hand as well that I could have played, and that's another dual attacker, 30k essentially. But then if I'm bringing more guys on the board, I can't really use their attack because I got to tap down cards every time, so it's going to expend my resources more. So that's where I was like, I've already established a board at this stage. Pump out the Zenith, get that guy going. And just kind of like, just force my way through his defense. So it kind of it favored me in the end there for keeping those 2 5 costs on board because of their permanent effects. That's why I like to kind of get at least 2 of them out, establish 2 of them, because I know that you can't remove them anyway from the field. So I can just take a life or remove 2 cards from underneath him. So I was lucky enough to have a further destruction in hand too.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of discussing, right? Like you had 2 energy up, you had 1 more battle card swing, so you had to tap down one of those energy. And it was just like, you have to go for this here because you saw him use 3 super combos throughout the period of the game. You kind of knew that he had, 8 to 10 cards in his hand. One of them was an Awakened Power. You probably assumed that he's got the other pieces. So 2 or 3 of those cards are virtually dead in his hand straight away. You needed to kind of swing at that and to kind of, like I said, put the pressure on and kind of time your plays perfectly, which you did. Congratulations on that win. It was good to see, obviously, the bounty mats in play as well. We got a nice early look at what people are going to be competing for. Now we've seen the decks that people are going to be playing against, so maybe gives them a bit of insight. I mean, it's a bit late now to kind of change the decks, but I mean, they get to see the play style and what you guys are kind of working with. Jiren, obviously a force to be reckoned with, right? It didn't kind of get the recognition it deserved when it first came out, I believe. It feels
it's a really good deck. It's obviously it's not top tier deck, but it's at a good place for red still, I feel. Just because I don't play unisons in this deck. It's all aggression, so I do play at least 3 furthering destructions.
Oh wow, okay.
So I do have a good chance of having
seeing
at
it,
least, that's why I used 2 in that match, early going, and then obviously to close out my game. So, and most of the time, I'm going to dump that on the leader or the 5 cost because they can't deal with it. Like, you can't remove it. So, it's kind of like, most times I won't really go into the Zenith, the 8 cost, unless I'm going for game, which is what I did in that game. So I usually like to sit back on the 5 costs because they just stick to the board and people have a hard time removing them.
Yeah, correct. And like I said, obviously with red, it's not very, I would say it's not very represented in today's day and age. So it is good to obviously see a lot of new leaders come back in, I mean, show off what there was, what there could be, and hopefully see more cards and more leaders in today's day. We haven't actually seen anything that's obviously come through. But yeah, I'm definitely keen to see what other players have brought to the table. Again, a bit of fun. The meta's about to end. We're getting into a new set, new play style, new mechanics, new leaders, hopefully. Which
really looking forward to the set 16 for sure.
Yeah.
Goku.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've kind of gravitated towards. I love playing Red myself, so it's always good to see, you know, what Red is capable of and how much pressure he can kind of put on. So fingers crossed it does make a good splash in the next meta. You know, Red kind of gets represented again and it kind of makes its mark. But again, Jimmy, congratulations on the exhibition match. Always good to see a good game against two top quality players. And yeah, hopefully you do well for the rest of the day. We don't want you to lose your mat too early. We're obviously going to be waiting for round 2 pairings to be up. There is still, I think, about 3 tables left. They should be probably wrapping up soon, but we might go to
awesome. Yep.
An intermission. Might let you go because you've obviously got maybe about 5 minutes before the next round starts anyway, so we'll let you go from there. But again, Jimmy, thanks for your time, mate. We might speak to you again later on, and good luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you, Yumit, and thank you, Ryan, guys. Appreciate it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Take care, mate.